Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Elets Innovation Talk. I'm Kaanchi Chawla, Senior Sub-Editor at Elets Technomedia, India's leading and largest B2B multimedia platform, proudly celebrating 22 years of excellence. For over 2 decades, Elets Technomedia has been at the helm of innovation, driving transformative summits and thought leadership across governance, healthcare, education, and banking and finance sectors. Elite's Innovation Talk is our signature series where we engage with trailblazers shaping the future of their industries. And today, we are honored to host a visionary leader whose work is redefining the digital landscape of global education. Join us in welcoming Antonio Roca, Managing Director of Academica Virtual Education. So, welcome to the Innovation Talk.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. Antonio is at the forefront of digital innovation in education. Under his leadership, Academica has grown to serve nearly 150,000 students, delivering transformative virtual education experiences across borders. In 2020, Academica launched Collegia, a proprietary digital education operating system that seamlessly connects students, parents, and educators with essential learning resources, content, and communication tools. This platform has become a cornerstone for virtual learning and collaboration across more than 28 countries. Antonio also spearheads the widely acclaimed dual diploma program, which now enrolls over 30,000 students. For its impact in expanding global education, Academica was awarded the prestigious 2022 Presidential E-Award, the highest recognition given to the US entities contributing significantly to international education and trade. Talking about Academica Virtual Education, it is the industry leader in delivering high-quality digital education. Through innovative platforms like Collegia and programs that bridge global classrooms, it is empowering students and educators to thrive in the digital era. Academica's mission is clear: to make education more accessible, personalized, and future ready for learners around the world. So it's an honor for us to have you with us today at this Innovation Talk, and I once again welcome you.
Well, thank you. It sounds a lot better when you say all that as opposed to me.
So, starting with my first question. So, how did Academica Virtual Education differentiate itself from other virtual learning providers in terms of pedagogy, technology, and student outcomes?
Well, I think that Academica Virtual Education has been around for over 15 years. And it's a result of a collaborative effort by both our educators in the brick and mortar space, in the physical school space, and also in the virtual space. We're really able to differentiate and bring a lot of the best practices from the brick and mortar and the traditional classroom into the virtual classroom. Unlike many other virtual providers, Academica does have a large network of over 200 schools in the United States, where we're, as you mentioned, over 150,000 students study with us in the physical classroom every day. We've taken that knowledge and we've been really doing that for nearly 30 years already, and incorporated the best practices of the physical learning space into a digital environment. You know, digital is a very powerful tool, and I think a lot of folks don't realize how personal you can get in a digital context. So for us to create a highly engaging and enriching educational experience in the virtual context was one of our primary goals. So we've done this through implementing various platforms, including Collegia, as you mentioned, which really connects our worldwide base of over 200,000 learners together. And we brought digital during COVID, just to use an example, and the worldwide pandemic. What we did there was we brought in auto tracking cameras, high definition video, high definition audio into the physical classroom. So those students that were not attending physical class could also participate just as if they were in the classroom. So it's really of molding those two spaces together and providing not only students in the physical classroom the ability to see students in the virtual classroom, but also provide a seamless way for educators to be able to teach simultaneously in both platforms.
Yeah. So, like Academica, like it operates a unique charter school model that supports innovation across various learning environments. So, how does the virtual education division integrate with the broader Academica ecosystem?
In many ways, and also but primarily we can provide extra tools to the physical brick and mortar campuses, like providing acceleration or advanced courses like AP Stat 1 or AP Bio or AP Physics, or courses that may not be offered at a particular school for lack of a teacher certified to teach it. Because sometimes what occurs, especially in a brick and mortar context, in a physical school context, you may have 10 students that want to take AP computer science, right? It's very, very difficult to find a teacher and for a school to afford a teacher that can teach that AP computer science. So a lot of schools aren't able to offer it. But by integrating a virtual model, it allows Academica to hire that teacher and teach that AP computer science at various campuses, bringing together maybe 10 students here, 6 students there, 8 students there. And now I've got a classroom of 40 students or 30 students, and I can support 3, 4, 5, 6 schools in being able to continue to offer really accelerated courses to students. So it really, and also the same thing works on the other end of the spectrum in terms of remediation and students that need to perhaps have a little bit more support and a little bit more time to take certain courses. We're able to offer that, and innovation and technology are the cornerstones of being able to push students forward and being able to give them all of the opportunity to take all the advanced courses that they want.
Sounds great, actually. So, moving on, Antonio, like what policies or partnerships have proven effective in closing the digital divide for your virtual learners?
Well, I think in terms of launching Collegia so that every student becomes familiar with a digital platform where they have a way, not only is it iOS and Android compliant, but it's also desktop and it's also laptop and iPads, because a lot of our schools are moving to all digital, meaning books are on the iPad, the students are using the iPads. So in order to prepare students for the rigorous challenge of moving to digital, especially in the middle and high school, really students in our elementary schools are already logging into Collegia, finding learning how to navigate, to send messages to parents, to teachers, to principals, and it's also super important, I think, that parents don't get left behind here. So parents are the guardians of all of our students, have access to Collegia. They have a way of communicating seamlessly with their teacher. They don't need to call the school. They don't need to write a letter. They're able to email or message their students' teachers in a real-time fashion. And importantly, the teachers also have a way to communicate with parents, because we know the critical nature of parental involvement for student success. So being able to break down the barriers between the schoolhouse and the house is critical. So I think finding partnerships and creating new platforms that make the process seamless or more seamless, I think is essential.
Okay, so do you see AI as a collaborator, competitor, or a catalyst for the future of virtual education? And how are you preparing students for that shift?
Great question. I think that it's both a catalyst and a collaborator. So we were early adopters of artificial intelligence. We absolutely believe that it will be a driving force in digital education moving forward. We've actually created our own artificial intelligence platform called AYA, Adaptive Instruction Advisor. We believe that the harnessing of the tools of artificial intelligence will provide great opportunities for individualized learning for students. The traditional model of education is one teacher in the front of the room, 30 students, and you may have students that are at the top level, but you may have students that are at the bottom level, and the teacher's kind of forced to teach right in the middle, because otherwise the fast learners get bored, the slow learners don't understand. What AI is able to bring is individualized learning capacity to the extent we've never seen before. So when you take standardized exams, and that may be your state exams or your interim exams or even your SATs or your ACTs, and you're able to take that practice data in through artificial intelligence and create custom learning objectives and exercises for students to really reinforce exactly the areas that they need. So we absolutely, artificial intelligence will never replace a teacher, but it's incumbent and pivotal that not only our more than 6,000 teachers learn to use artificial intelligence, because we need to teach our students how to leverage that technology. And that starts with the teacher learning how to leverage that technology by using the data points in the classroom to create unique, targeted, customized lessons for their students. So we absolutely believe that artificial intelligence is here to stay. It's incumbent upon us as educators to teach students how to use this technology and how to use this technology ethically. And that's really key, because if we don't teach them, where are they going to learn how to use it properly? There's not going to be a young person in this world that is entering the workforce in 10 or 15 years that does not have a mastery that should not have a mastery of how to work and interact with artificial intelligence. And I do believe that the future is going to be led by those that can ask the best questions, the best prompts. And that takes not only a certain amount of knowledge in the subject that you're asking artificial intelligence or large language models how to those questions, you're going to need to frame those questions intelligently. And those that can frame the prompt in a much more detailed and articulate form are going to get the best answers. So just to close on this point, AI is here to stay. Educators need to embrace it, and it will not be the end. Just like calculators were not the end of math, many teachers thought that that would occur. This will not eliminate the teacher. This will not eliminate the classroom, but quite the contrary. It'll allow educators the additional tools and students additional tools for better learning outcomes.
Truly said. I totally agree to your point. Like, AI is here to stay. It is evolving, but yes, it cannot replace humans. Human touch is needed, and especially in case of a teacher and student. So truly said that. So Antonio, like, how do you envision the ideal hybrid school of the future? Like, one that fully blends digital flexibility with real world community engagement.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So we see that, and we're actually implementing that in various contexts with learning centers. So learning centers are going to be areas that students can come to learn, but they may have, instead of being in a traditional classroom, they may be in a pod using virtual learning and artificial intelligence to learn and reinforce certain concepts for a certain period of time of the day, and then another period of time of the day, the students are in a collaborative group setting with the teacher working on a lot of the subjects that that they were learning that day independently. So I think that creating a fluid environment where students are able to leverage technology for individualized learning, but also give the social component of being in a school, which is absolutely super important, especially in today's age where a lot of adolescents and youth and teens don't have the personal engagement with humans, let's say, in a live context. So I think we're implementing learning centers as the next step of individualized learning with flexibility, but also with that human touch, so that project-based learning can occur, collaborative learning can occur in those learning centers, but the student may not need to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. The student may be a cricket player, or may be an athlete, may need time in the morning and come in later on in the afternoon. So I think that individualized learning and technology will absolutely, and these new learning environments, I think will bode well for education in the future.
Yeah. So, what's one leadership lesson that you have learned from managing virtual schools that traditional schools leaders might not experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that there's a big misconception, and I mentioned it when we first started talking. There's a big misconception that virtual cannot be personable, cannot be that it's difficult to make a connection. And I think that a lot of brick and mortar teachers sometimes think that, oh, virtual, it's all that digital stuff out there, and there's no way you can connect with a student. But I think the lesson has been, especially in virtual, that there's enormous connections to be made in the virtual context. And I can see your eyes, I can see when you smile, I can see how you react if I tell a joke. All of these are context clues that educators use on a daily basis in a classroom. And I think that one of the biggest lessons is that classroom, that connection, those context clues are just as readily apparent in a virtual classroom as they are in a physical classroom. You just may have to look for a couple of different signs that you're not used to.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you share like any measurable outcome or success stories that highlights the impact of your organization or underserved communities?
Yeah. The vast majority of the brick and mortar schools that we operate here in the U.S. Serve are in underserved communities. So that's where we began 30 years ago, creating educational outcomes, because this notion that poor kids can't learn is absolutely a fallacy, and we've proved it over and over again. I think that one of the cornerstones or leverage points that we use with virtual serving in underserved communities is providing that after school tutoring through the virtual context, because tutoring after school is very expensive, right? Brick and mortar schools can't afford to keep their entire staff, all the teachers after school tutoring. So we've done Saturday classes on tutoring, but what's really made a difference is providing a computer lab at the school where the students are able to get reinforcement with lessons that perhaps they didn't fully understand in a virtual context, while at the same time, so you're delivering that content, giving that remediation or that acceleration of that student at a much at scale, because you can really do it at scale without breaking the bank. So in terms of school budgets, in terms of keeping 30, 50, 100 teachers after the school day to do tutoring, that becomes very, very difficult for a brick and mortar school to do. But if you can blend that with digital learning and provide an environment where the students can asynchronously learn independently, and reinforce those concepts, I think that's one of the best tools available in serving underserved communities outside of what's done in the classroom every single day.
So, Antonio, like this is a great initiative that you're taking, like, but like with the growing integration of AI, like across the globe, I'll say. So, what is your vision for India, like for India's Academica? Like, what do you think, like how we are preparing for the students for the future of digital learning?
Well, with regard to India, we're super excited. We're super excited to be in India, and we're looking forward, especially with our dual diploma program, expanding our reach to students, because the idea there is we want to expose students to as much outside of their traditional classroom as possible. But with our dual diploma program specifically, students are using AI. They're using our proprietary AI software to help them learn and teaching them the tools how to leverage those tools. Again, in an ethical matter, this is not going to replace thinking, right? We never want the computer to replace thinking, but we do want to teach students how to leverage those large language models and that technology to create a better human outcome or solution to a problem. So I think that with technology, artificial intelligence, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one other thing, which is the health and the mental health of students, right? And we've created a whole health and wellness platform, which is integrated into Collegia, that allows students to create mindfulness exercises based upon particular subjects or particular troubles that they're having. And again, we use AI to create those mindfulness lessons for students. And that may be a 2-minute lesson, that may be a 4-minute lesson. We're helping students interact with a virtual environment to perhaps solve some emotional, or at least help with some emotional problems that they're having. Sometimes, or a lot of the times, youth is more willing to talk in a virtual context than they will with an AI, than they will perhaps with their parent or their sister or their brother. So using AI and creating outlets, not only in the social emotional context, but also in the education context, is going to be pivotal. And we're super excited to be in India, bringing our innovation to your country.
Well, that's great to hear, and thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insights with us. So, as we conclude, could you share a powerful message for educators, policymakers, edtech innovators, and especially the young learners around the world who are striving to create impactful, inclusive, and future-ready education ecosystem in this rapidly evolving digital era? So, any message for them?
Be bold. Don't be afraid. Embrace technology. Embrace it ethically. Dream big. We're going to need all the help we can get in the future. So we need to be engaged. And students need to understand that they're our most valuable resource, although adults sometimes don't say that, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be leading us. And we need them to be happy, engaged, socially alert, and have dreams. So be bold, dream, embrace technology, and learn.
Well, thank you so much, Antonio. It was a pleasure having you with us today. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Happy to do it.
Same here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of another episode of Elets Innovation Talk. A heartfelt thank you to Mr. Antonio for joining us today and sharing his visionary perspectives on global education, digital transformation, and the incredible work being done at Academica Virtual Education. Your commitment to empowering learners through technology is truly motivating. So, to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us and being with us. For more such enriching dialogues with global education leaders and innovators, stay tuned with Elets Innovation Talk. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep shaping the future through education and innovation. Thank you.